I'll tell you something about speech writing. So, a speech actually it begins with a formal address to the chief guest or the fellow speakers and audience. Begins with brief, catchy introduction. It can be supported by anecdote, quotation. You can take it as striking statistical data or a thought-provoking question. It decides the fate of the speech. And what is the beginning? Actually, it is very important. The beginning of the speech, it should be very catchy, more conversational in tone. You can pause with the questions because you're asking a question. Use interactive expressions like I think you'll agree with me, or don't you think that? I'm sure that you will have the same notion. Does anyone has the opinion that? Children, you can include adequate supporting data to make it credible and interesting. You should have a clear idea about the purpose of the speech and the target audience. Originality of ideas, powerful language, humor, and repetitions are allowed only to catch attention. So, similar to introduction, conclusion should be brief, catchy, and striking. The written speech should consist of short sentences having not more than 10 to 12 words in a sentence. You should not go for long sentences. No title to be given for the speech. Remember one thing, no title to be given for the speech. Avoid abstract phrases and use simple and familiar language. And you can write down thank you at the end of your speech. Now, in case if I'm talking about to write a composition, it can be children in your syllabus, it can be verbal or visual. Listen very carefully. It should be in about 150 to 200 words. Output may be descriptive or argumentative. So, the verbal input may include broad hints, a short outline, or only a suggested beginning. You should study carefully the hint or the topic given and then arrange the points in your mind first. You may have some ideas, so coordinate your ideas along with the topic. So, see children, normally the format is 1 mark, content is of 4 marks, and expression is of 5 marks. Writing, thinking, collecting a draft, and revising. These are the points. I'll speak it again. Expression, writing, thinking, collecting, a draft, and revising. So these are the points which you have to keep in mind. While expression, your grammatical accuracy or the spellings, it should be appropriate. It should be perfect. So the elements which you have to keep in mind, that you have to grab the attention of the reader. So a grabber is used to open your remarks, connect with your audience, and capture their attention. The very first thing you have to remember is focus on the subject, thinking about the topics and ideas associated with it. Starting your subject might feel like starting the obvious, but it expresses a commitment to your audience. A message should be given. The message is a single sentence that what it is, you'll communicate through your speech. There should be a theme offers language that unifies the points in your speech. There are a number of ways you can structure your remarks, children. Then now it should be a chronicle. I can say that there can be a comparison. There can be a comparison, children. And whenever we are writing down a speech, just remember one thing, that the elements can make a huge difference in how your speech is received. By building them in, you'll show your audience that you have thought about them and not just what you want to say. So, in case if I'm talking about the speech writing features, what you have to think is, listen very carefully. The features are contractions, punctuation. So what is a contraction, children? There is nothing he can't do. So you will write down, there is little he can do. In the punctuation, while speaking we have to give a pause, but while writing, be careful. You have to be very careful with the commas and full stops. So there, whenever you are writing, there is an unknown reader. So assume your audience. Assume it that you are writing for someone. So assume your audience. Vivid imagery is required. Your standard spelling is expected. Your standard variation is expected. Your coherent organization, controlled structure is required. So, while writing down a speech, whenever we speak, see, when I am speaking, so those who give a good speech makes it look easy and effortless. So what makes a speech good is a difficult question to answer. A strong speech contains a beginning, a middle, and an end. So those are the three pieces of story structure, and they help make up the structure of a good speech as well. Begin, I'll again say, begin with an attention grabbing, compelling opening, and use it as a story. That will help you to lay out the points you are hoping to make. The middle can reiterate your point in the middle. We can say that in the middle of the speech. See, in the middle of the speech, you can see it in this speech. You can lay out the points you're hoping to make, and then in the middle, it should be brief, but without exhausting and belaboring the issue. Now comes with the conclusion. The conclusion should be the short and to the point. So remember one thing, a single theme. You can use anecdotes. Children, anecdotes means rather than a laundry list of reasons why your point is true or significant, try to find a story or an anecdote that supports the theme you are trying to express. Stories are naturally engaging and people tend to remember them. They remember them better than exposition or lectures about the same topic. Your tone. Write your speech in the same voice in which you speak. In other words, don't get academic. Speeches read aloud sound far, which anyone who has to listen to a long speech, they can attest. Write in short sentences the same way that you speak. Don't write a speech that will sound read. Keep the vocabulary and sentence structure as close to your own natural conversation as possible. So, a strong beginning, a strong ending, and in the middle, what you have to remember is keep the middle short. Now, I have told you the characteristics and the features of the speech. You will write down the speech in your notebook, and I'll be sending you the assignment which you will write down yourself, and then send the assignment by evening.